And I remember when the time came, senior year, where and the announcement came, I think my junior year, that you can now go out when you're 18. And I remember that kind of rocking me, being like, wow, I'd never thought about it. But I'd always planned on going to school. And so I remember coming, and all of a sudden, end of my senior year, everyone's getting their mission calls, like everybody, everyone but me. And just thinking, like, oh, I'm going to be so judged. I'm like, this is not going to be good if I don't go. Maybe I need to go. But I remember thinking, like, I am not ready. Spiritually, I really felt I needed to go off on my own and go to college. I needed that year to really get that conviction. And so I did. I made the decision to go to BYU for a year before, while every single one of my friends went right out but me. And it was hard. I remember going to farewells, and at first, you have 20, 30 of you sitting together, all your friends, as your first friend goes, and you're like, oh, in the audience, like, hey, man, like, kind of like nodding to him, making faces or whatever. And then as time went on, little by little, you're the last person in the audience of the friends. So little by little, there's 2 of you left, or there's 3 of you, or things like that. And the last of the guys, and I remember parents asking my parents, like, is he worthy? Like, is it just because maybe he's not like making the right decision? Is he not ready? And that was really hard for me. But it was very frustrating. And I started getting more in a negative mindset of, rather than when are you going to go, I'm like, am I going to go? Because I was just really kind of disappointed that I'd always grown up. I'm very energetic. I loved answering, participating in class. I loved testifying. I loved praying. When I got a talk from the bishop, I'd say thank you, and he thought that was way weird as a young man. But all of a sudden, choosing to wait a year to prepare, like, is he worthy? And but I went down to BYU, and it was so fun. But for the first time in my life, waking up and going to church on Sunday was my decision. My parents weren't going to call me and say, did you go? It was, I wasn't going to be checked up on. And so I think it was, again, the next January, February, when all of a sudden, all of my friends in college freshman year are now getting their calls again. And it was like deja vu of hitting senior year in high school again. Everyone's getting their calls again. And I remember one of my friends opening his call and everyone cheering, and me kind of standing in the back and just, I don't know, just feeling kind of lost. Like, what am I doing? I literally remember thinking, if I don't go on a mission, like, I'm not going to stay at BYU. Because I remember thinking that'd be so embarrassing to go on a date with a girl being 20 or 21 and her saying, so where'd you serve your mission? Oh, I didn't serve. Oh, okay. And I remember thinking my parents I felt like maybe my family would be a little disappointed or something. I didn't know. And so I remember going into my room, because we lived in the dorm, so I was just in the lobby. So I just walked down the hall to my room, and I went and knelt down and prayed. And for the first time, with like real sincerity, I said, Heavenly Father, I really need to know. If it's true, I need to know that I need to serve a mission, because I don't have the strength to do this on my own right now. And I remember just feeling this warmth overcome my whole body. And I just wept. I just cried for a long time. And just immediately tried to write it down so I wouldn't forget that feeling, because I knew that within 24 hours Satan would want me to forget. The adversary would be like, no, like, you didn't feel that. Or I know I'd doubt myself. It's just my own thoughts, or I'm just, I don't know anymore. And I remember that feeling. I immediately that Sunday met with a bishop and talked about my mission and said there's some things I need to get in line and I need to get ready to go. And it was so cool. I prepared and got ready to go. And I remember getting my mission call. And it was interesting, I think, because of the process I went through and how it wasn't just so easy. I wasn't just excited the whole time, I wasn't just ready in high school. I wasn't just ready my freshman year. That when it finally came, I wasn't the classic, oh my gosh, like freaking out. I was kind of just really like humbly calm that it had finally come. I remember thinking, wow, I never thought this day would come. And I thought I was going to cry, and I opened it up and I read, Dear Elder Aiken, you're assigned to labor in Tokyo, in the Japan Tokyo mission. And everything, like, it was so funny. I took French in high school. I had like a spiritual confirmation. I really knew I was not going Spanish speaking. I just knew. And so I felt, okay, I'm going to go French in France, or I'll just maybe go in the States English speaking, because my dad and both my brothers both went to America. All went to America, and so I was like, I'm going to go to America, I thought. Keep the family tradition. And I remember being in shock. I was like, it was almost like I'd forgotten they had missions there. What is it like? All I knew was like chopsticks, sushi, and literally maybe World War II. That was about my extent of my knowledge of Japan. And I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. And I remember my mom just going, no, like in shock. And my uncle goes, you know they read right to left and top to bottom in Japan, right? I was like, no. And like they have 3 written languages. They have kanji, hiragana, and katakana, right? And I was like, no, like this can't be. And I was like, all of a sudden it was interesting that I think it was because of the nervousness or realizing that it was nothing that I expected, that I actually didn't just immediately feel this is where I'm supposed to go. Actually, the next day went to the temple and prayed and said, I need to know that this is where I'm supposed to go because I'm very nervous. And I remember praying, and I'm the youngest as well. And so I was the last one to go, and I was like, is this right? And I was, all of a sudden the doubts came back of, am I supposed to go? And I remember in the temple just really receiving that confirmation that, Trevor, yes, you're supposed to go to Japan. And there are people waiting there for you. I remember getting really excited. I remember learning that they're a very quiet and very personal people, kind of just very to themselves, and realizing, okay, I'm way energetic, very loud. Maybe I can bring something and bring myself to Japan, and that's why God wants me there. Whereas in America, I would just, maybe it'd be able to be different. And then I remember going to the MTC, and my mom's crying. My brother's a little emotional. My dad's a little emotional. My dad doesn't get very emotional. But they're like, bye, Trev. Like, okay, bye. Like, I was just so ready. Like, okay, see ya. Like, I thought I'd cry. I was like, let me go. And it was way funny. I just remember being so calm. I just went in the MTC, and then it began. My mission started.